And I love all of you guys that have supported me over the years. This is not, an easy thing for me to do, but I really do appreciate everybody that's been a big part of, the growth of the brand and everything that I've done. I've worked really hard, and you guys have been alongside me like the whole way. And there's so many of you guys that have spent so much of your own money on the stuff that I do and I'm passionate about. And it means the world to me. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Substance Podcast. I'm your host, Liam.
And I'm your other host, Matt.
And today's episode, we have another guest, although not really a guest. It's just Ben, our other roommate, is back on the podcast.
I'm your littlest baby brother, Benny.
We figured it would just kind of be cool to do a more relaxed episode. The past two episodes have been fairly serious on, business and stuff related to cars. We did Riverside, we did Dustin with Okie Doke, which if you guys haven't listened to those episodes or given them a watch, please go do. They're really, really good. Lots of valuable information in there. Why are you sitting up so straight right now, Ben?
I was just leaning back so I could look at the both.
Oh, yeah, that's
because now if I lean forward, y'all are just looking at like a near rear 3/4 angle of me.
Oh, I know. It's like third person mode or whatever. But
I wish I could pull this. I would literally just sit back and
I
get
just
my
moved
God.
the table again. I'm so sorry.
If you guys have not realized yet, this setup is the most inconvenient thing ever because I have to move both of my vehicles like out of the way, set all of this lighting, wiring up, which there's like 2 outlets in this whole fucking garage, and then we have this table that, look, if you're watching on YouTube, let me just...
Oh, you're gonna break it before we can even...
It's awful. So yeah, we're...
You could say it's on its last leg.
I literally... Can you... Get off the logo.
Ben's like, bye.
Yeah,
You're fired. You're fired from the podcast.
It'll be really nice the day that we actually have like a studio set up and a nice space to record this and have it more set up in a way that like makes sense to sit down and face each other. Because right now like we're having a conversation through each other.
It's like if we were all out to eat sitting on the same side of the booth.
We're that weird throuple. Speaking of,
That's exactly what it is. Speaking of, we are going to do a Q&A today, and me and Ben did happen to go through the questions last night, and one of them said, "Are you guys dating?"
just in general, not anyone specific of the three of us, just are you guys dating? We're just a throuple.
There was a group. So some of me and Ben's best friends here, when we originally met them, they thought we were gay, and I guess neither of us like realized this. So we didn't clarify that we were not. So they went for like 3 weeks thinking that we were just like a gay couple that just had the PDA like under control.
Well, in their defense, they didn't know our situation and the fact that you were just crashing on my couch in a 1-bedroom. So, like, they saw 2 men living in a 1-bedroom apartment with each other, and they just moved in. They're like, "Oh, those 2 guys are gay." And
That
it was
is
like,
very true.
well, one of them kind of. But
Guess which one?
But
shout out Maya and Tim. We love you guys.
But yeah, we figured this episode we'd kind of do like a little bit of a Q&A. Put a post out, well, 2 posts actually, one on the Substance account, which I'm expecting to have more serious questions, and one on my account, which I'm sure will have
People
a
are just
bunch
going to be trolling.
bullshit like, "Are you guys a throuple?"
We are, by the way.
But yeah, no, that's very accurate that we are like going to a restaurant and all sitting on the same side of the table. That's very much how this feels. And on the other side of the table is the camera, and the camera is our server.
Yes. Just sitting direct. It's one of those servers that sits down at the table with you.
What if we did a whole horrible episode with that fucking idea and put the camera like in the side of the table where the server would be?
Yeah, can I... I don't really want blue cheese with that.
This is going to be fun. We're like 5 minutes in. It's already very chaotic. So we'll see where this goes.
Well, I think, it's definitely going to be interesting. But we are going to try and keep this to cars as much as we can. Even though, like, we've explained this before. Like, when I had Ben on here, it was just me and him. We do have, like, a really good dynamic between us. Like I said at the start, we all live together. And we've known each other for a little while, which we can talk about that a little bit before we get into the Q&A. But our dynamic is interesting because me and Matt have very serious conversations. Matt's just like, he's very in-depth, very passionate about things that we talk about. So our conversation's super in-depth. Benny is like the less serious side of it. And so we get a really good balance to where like, I like to fuck around, but I also like serious conversation.
You know what's hilarious? If you're on YouTube, this is going to be even funnier. I was about to be like, Benny is the light to my darkness. Look at what we are wearing right now.
Why do we look like a color palette? Like one of those like sample palettes, like the aesthetic is
earth tones, dude.
Oh, we are the Microsoft Office resume earth tone palette.
Oh my god! To explain, to the left of the frame you have Matt in black. Benny is in a nice kind of basically like tan gray, like stone color, and then I have like a brown color on.
I feel like this is almost like.
Dude,
it makes a lot of sense because like I'm the dark, Benny's the light. You're like you have a
somewhere
little
in
bit
between.
Of both. Yeah.
All right, no, this is a
works.
visual representation of our dynamic.
We did this on purpose.
No, we didn't. Dude, even like the
Liam's like that's I'm gonna stop.
The table's the same color as my hoodie, and then the orange cup even fits into the aesthetic. This is wonderful.
For context, if you see us all three looking over to our left, the laptop is over there. So we're just,
that's literally
we're just looking at it.
I'm supposed to be the only person looking at the laptop. You guys,
see,
No.
I was gonna say if you'll notice,
No.
if you watch every single YouTube video of any of our episodes, that is what I'm constantly looking. I'm not looking at Liam. I'm looking at the camera. I just can't. I'm doing it right now. Like,
what are you talking about? We're a thruple. We're a thruple.
We're
You're
a
looking.
thruple.
You're looking at me. What do you mean?
Thruple. I look at you enough.
Enough.
I look at you all the time.
All right. So let's talk about how we met, because me and Ben go back quite a ways, which I think we did talk about this a little bit on the episode.
Yeah, we went over it a little bit.
Which I don't even fucking remember.
Yeah,
I'll be quite honest.
Big zoinked.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't even remember how we met.
We met,
that wasn't the edible. Liam's just
I just
it was Slam Enough Gatlinburg like 2016 or 17,
right, yep,
right?
I remember now. It's all
Yeah.
good. We don't even have to go over
Yeah.
it. It's not important. I'm just kidding. It is important.
I forgot the shape. Sorry.
Oh my god.
That just popped out. I'm
You're
so
good.
sorry.
You're good.
But anyways, so yeah, we've known each other for quite a while, and then Matt you've known Matt for
About the same amount of time, honestly.
yeah,
It
but then
was-
we didn't really like cross paths together until about a year and a half ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was was it a year and a half ago? Or was it like 2 years ago?
It was like the first time you visited.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are
Chattanooga.
you talking about me and you?
Yeah.
Have I already told that story on the podcast? I don't remember.
You may have. I honestly don't remember either.
So, if I've said this already, it's a quick recap. If I've not, let me tell you a funny little story. So, short and sweet, I was in a depressive episode, among other things, because I'm bipolar, just in case anybody that's listening to this doesn't know that. And I was just like, I was just fucking agitated. And so I had no idea that Liam was even in town. Like I said, we didn't really know each other at the time. And so he was like, he was at the house, and I was upstairs in my room brooding. And Ben was like, "Hey, Matt, like Liam is here." And I was just like, okay. I didn't know who the fuck, I didn't know who he was. I was just not in the mood to interact with anybody whatsoever, whether I knew them or not. So anyway, I had to leave the house to go do who fucking knows what. And our kitchen was like right next to our front door.
Went out to go throw plates at stuff.
Like honestly, yeah. So our kitchen was right next to the front door. And so I had to walk past them. And so I walked down there.
I mean, you didn't want to climb out of your upstairs window?
I probably almost did, knowing you were downstairs. So anyway, so I walked by, and Ben is like, "Hey, Matt, this is Liam." And Liam's like, "Oh, what's up, dude? I love Not Fast." And I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you, thanks." And I just walked out the door.
Now we have a podcast together.
Yeah. it's kind of like that's part of our throuple story where it's like people are like, yeah, I remember at the beginning I thought you were such a jerk, like, but I didn't think I was the jerk, if anything. But yeah, so that was my first words to Liam. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Door slam.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel that way to me. Like, I wasn't like,
thank God.
I wasn't bothered by it. It was all good. Matt was just cute enough that I was like, okay with it. We gotta stop making these jokes because otherwise people are gonna start taking it seriously.
You gotta just really lean into it.
You guys are a throuple, aren't you?
But yeah, no. So it's been, I guess, a year and a half then that we've like all been like friends together, and it was pretty apparent fairly quickly that like we were gonna stay friends for a long period of time.
Did we just
worked.
become best friends? I just said breast. Did we? Yo, I am on it with these fucking things, man.
Last week it was VIP-ness. Now it's breast friends.
I can't. If I do it the next episode, that's gonna be really bad because I'm gonna set like a precedent for me doing shit like that.
To give context, Matt's girlfriend lives in another country, and so this is why Matt's brain is processing things in this way.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys want to be breast friends?
Breast friends.
We already are breast friends.
Oh, and you know what's great? We're already in the garage, so we can just go do karate, like right there.
Fuck, dude. You know, I've been legitimately, well, if I had expendable income, I really want to get a punching bag for in here.
We got the big old gloves.
Where in the fuck are we going to put a punching bag?
You can fucking hang that bastard. I don't know.
There's a 17-foot long car in here.
I'll hang myself and you can use my body as one.
Shut the fuck up. We can just put it right here.
Right next to the sim rig?
Yeah, this is our activity corner.
So you're thinking like one person will be on the sim rig and you hit the punching bag and it just swings into the fucking TV and knocks it off the stand?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's not a good place for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Let's just put it in the middle of the living room.
I'll figure it out. Figure it out. Once we move the studio, I'm gonna have one of those guys that are just like a whole ass body and a head on a stand that they used to have in like your karate.
They make videos of them.
Fuck
yes,
yeah, dude.
I will literally just film videos of me beating the shit out of that.
Dude, I'm telling you. Like fucking, you just post like little fucking vlogs. Like, man, look how fucking pissed I was yesterday.
Be throwing like, I got a microwave chilling in here from my old apartment. I want to like destroy it really badly.
No,
I would definitely throw that.
No,
thing.
that one we need to destroy that Office Space style and just make content out of it.
All right, coming soon, guys. Microwave.
You're too. You haven't seen Office Space?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh, dude, we're watching that soon. That's a fucking classic. Anyway, continue. Let's do the thing.
What's before we like actually jump into questions? Is there anything new going on in y'all's lives?
Victoria moves here in a week.
Yeah, that's
1 week.
Benny's girlfriend who lives in Omaha.
Good old Nebraska.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Matt thought it was Oklahoma for the longest time.
Omaha, Oklahoma.
And you want to know the really ridiculous part about that? Whether you believe me or not, I am and have always been really good at geography. I guess that is like the one that slipped through the cracks.
I literally thought you were about to just be like, look, I don't care how stupid it sounds. Like, I'm smart, okay?
And obviously, all respect to Victoria, because she's going to be a chat person now, so I can say this and not feel bad.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the flyover states. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry.
Like, I didn't until I started visiting them.
Anybody that lives in the flyover states, I'm not saying I don't give a shit about you. I just don't give a shit about where you live.
There's some hidden gems like Kansas City. Omaha's cool. St. Louis is cool. Places like that.
I have heard St. Louis is pretty cool.
St. Louis is cool.
Yeah,
I've heard St. Louis is pretty cool.
But I also didn't give a shit about flyover states until I went and visited one and then found the love of my life. So, but yeah, Victoria's moving here in a week, and I'm really excited. And we could have her on the podcast. I don't know what she could talk about car related, but she could talk about her car experiences in Omaha, even though she's not really a car girl. It might be interesting, like an unbiased thing.
I love Victoria, but I don't think it's a good fit.
No, I'll just make my own podcast with her then.
Yeah. Ben does an offshoot podcast, just like, yeah, well, Victoria, you can be on my podcast.
So the substance.
The joke,
Mine is Dom stance.
the joke is on us, right? Because we're like, oh yeah, go ahead, start you. He's got the equipment. It's right here.
Oh yeah, he just comes down.
All he's got to do is like come down here and be like, can you guys leave, please? I'm doing a podcast right now. Speaking.
Hold on, Matt.
Yes.
Last episode we talked about Discord.
Yes.
You want, because I want to get this out like to anybody that
this-
is ready for it.
When this episode comes out, a Substance Discord will be live. If you work fast enough, you will probably be like the first person that's not me or Liam or Ben to be in the Discord.
Yeah.
Not that you get a prize for that or anything, besides like a bucket of pride or something. But yes, we are really excited about that. Liam and I are going to. I sent Liam down the Discord rabbit hole, and he's smarter than I am, so he probably learned more like last night than I have in the last 2 days.
Well, I fully understand because, okay, to give context, I had no idea about Discord stuff until last night when I did the research, and I understand now how we got on that topic from us talking about MySpace and coding. Like, it makes total sense. And so now I've like nerded out on Discord stuff. It's super interesting to me. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about this Discord venture. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm going to try and stay active on there as much as I can. So if you guys want to join, the link is going to be in the description. Come hang out with us. There's a bunch of like, what are they called? Like
channels.
Okay.
I thought you were the one that spent
No, I spent a lot of time like looking up like bots and different ways to manage it and strategy and stuff like that.
It is important to mention. I legitimately think that me and Liam are going to focus a lot of our attention on the Discord and using every feature we can possibly, figure out how to use, because like, it's like we talked about in the last episode. Technically, I can't speak for Liam, but like I myself am so fucking sick of Instagram. I'm just so over it. I'm so over how the algorithm just fucking hits you in the knees with a baseball bat. Like I'm over it. I'm sure to whatever degree Liam is over it.
I'm very over it.
Think
and there is something that I do want to like kind of talk about and announce in this video, but I'm gonna wait. Podcast. I'm gonna wait until
both. You're fine.
That's true. I'm gonna wait until later in this episode, but there's some things I want to talk about related to LEP that
really quick,
amazing. But
Ben got to talk about his girlfriend. I want to talk about my girlfriend.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the rest of the life updates. We didn't get past that.
You're right.
The only super good life update I have outside of like working and sleeping and doing the same shit is my beautiful girlfriend, Pal. She currently lives in Bolivia, and we don't get to see each other nearly as often as either of us would like, but we're kind of in the process of doing everything that is required to be together. But for now, we will be meeting in Mexico in May, and to say I'm looking forward to that is an understatement. But I just, before we sat down for the podcast, bought the second to last thing that I need to be completely sorted for that. And this process has been ridiculously stressful. So being that much closer is just like awesome. So that's kind of my one thing for this week, because everything else just stresses me the fuck out. So, and
then an update on my girlfriend. She doesn't know I exist yet. So we're full steam ahead. We're ready.
Liam, look, man, you're in a thruple until you get there. All right.
Yeah, Liam is bricked up and hanging sideways. So if any ladies want to hop in on that,
I'm actually not. I really not interested in it. Anybody that would be listening to this podcast, to be honest with you.
It's a lot of men.
Yes,
probably,
but also just that's way too close to comfort.
Yeah.
Can't mix business and pleasure.
Says who?
You're right. No, I've done it way too many times.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, way too personal. Let's do Q&A.
Let's do it.
All right. So I posted
the Earth
up.
Is flat.
All right. So Ben is fired.
That's it.
Ben is fired forever.
Just kidding. The Earth is round. I'm a No, I can't say that.
No.
The Earth is a petri dish.
What did he call it? I'm like he said a
the-
globe tard or something, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
what
God.
a weird way to say a normal person.
We're watching Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, which if you are not clued into that YouTube channel and you would like to just get to know human beings in the U.S. and the absolute ridiculous bullshit that everyone does all the time, go watch Channel 5.
Channel 5.
It's a really cool channel.
It is.
Very funny.
All right, so I put up on both my Instagram and then the Substance account. So, like I said, I'm expecting one to have better questions than the other. One may have more, one may have better worded questions
Yeah,
because
good
some people don't
LEP
take it that
followers.
way.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Something that I learned from last time. We should, I mean, maybe this is obvious, but we didn't do it last time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should set some kind of like soft time limit on answering the
answering a
questions,
question?
because it's like if we do what we did last time, we'll answer like 2 of these questions. It's going to take the whole episode.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be mad as long as I just narrow it down to like questions that I think are actually going to be like really good. Because there's not like a ton. We did this like fairly short notice last night. So
Yeah, it was like 8 p.m. last night. Or
yeah.
Okay, well, do your thing.
First question. Dustin has cars. Shout out to Dustin. We all
Yes,
like
shout out to Dustin.
He said pros and stigma of buying someone else's build.
Well, I've definitely done that before.
Yeah,
So
same.
My blue Impreza wagon,
Yeah.
it already had the NKs on it. He literally custom made brackets for the basket. Granted, I only had the basket on there for like 50% of the time I owned the car because I went back and forth about whether I liked it.
Yeah.
He already had the really expensive exhaust on it. Yeah, I think those are the things that he already had. So it's not like it was like heavily built.
Okay,
but
well,
all the
cool.
expensive stuff that I couldn't afford was already on there when I bought the car, and that was
Yeah.
one of the other reasons that I had such a hard on to get the car.
That's good. And Ben, you have a little bit of experience
Yeah.
with it too. So you can both talk on that from a first-hand perspective. I would just be speculating if I talk on it because I never... I didn't mean to say that.
Liam is
sorry.
Mr. Built Not Bought over here.
No, I don't ever want to deal
I'm
with
just
anybody else's. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, here I'll give my start to it. The reason I've never bought somebody else's project is because I don't want to deal with anybody else's bullshit.
Yeah.
I know.
And I get that.
I know exactly how to cut corners because I've done it. And I do not want to I would never sell my car to someone else knowing full well 6 months down the line they'll find some hacked bullshit that I did.
That's the other thing is to be honest.
I don't want to deal with
for
that.
For anybody that like maybe you are getting your license soon or just got it and you're into this stuff and you're like ready to get a car or whatever, I would caution you that even though me and Ben both, like I just said, I got a car that was already modified, a Subaru no less. But I didn't really know this at the time, but like be very careful when you're looking for used cars and it's already modified, because for me now, knowing what I know now, if I see a car that's already modified, I'm not saying don't get it, but be very aware, because 9 times out of 10, if the car is already modified, the person that had it before you beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, unless it has like an extensive parts list on the description,
person,
or
maybe.
Yeah.
you know the person, you know their quality in building a car, that sort of thing. Take seeing a car that's already modified, you wanting it, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say the number one red flag would be don't fucking buy a modified car from a dealership, because majority of the time it's going to be a fucking trade-in.
Yeah,
and if
somebody
somebody
got
is
rid of it.
trading in a modified car, they're clearly losing money on it, but they were doing it because they just needed to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be 100% avoid the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Do not buy from a dealership trade modified cars. That
Just
would
be diligent about buying from used car dealerships, because
Well, yeah, that too.
I got screwed with my Forester.
Oh, yeah.
It was a completely unmodified Forester XT, 82,000 miles on it. Auto check report came back great. Everything looked awesome on it. Really clean car. And I bought it from Canton, Georgia. I won't say the dealership name just because, for one, I forgot it. And two,
Trying to make it sound like you're not trying to catch a lawsuit.
I was gonna.
No, I don't-
It's so funny because I actually remember it, because the funniest, but like most unfortunate part about it is I also bought my Forester from there. That was what kind of sucked is like when Ben showed me the Forester and he showed me where it was, I was like, wait a fucking minute. I recognized that logo, and then I like looked at the street view, and I'm like, dude, I bought my Forester there.
Yeah.
So and I was like, yeah, he's a super cool guy, this and that. Apparently not anymore.
He was until my turbo blew up 4 hours into ownership when I was not even back to Chattanooga yet.
Yeah, we were in, where the fuck were we?
We were like close to Cartersville or Marysville where Lane lives. But yeah, I was just going down the interstate. I did a slight pull because it's my first turbo car, and the turbo just blew, and it was like $4,000 worth of damage.
Jeez.
Dude offered me $1,000 to fix it because he found the parts on eBay, and I was like, dude, you're putting a Band-Aid on a surgery. Like, you need to perform surgery on this car, and you're just going to put a cheap eBay turbo on it. Like, so just be careful of that.
Well, anyways, back to
buying
somebody else's build, pros and stigma, which I guess let's get like the stigma out of the way first.
Well, I mean, after this pro, it's exactly what I just said about the Impreza. All the expensive shit that I would never have been able to afford that I want was already on the car.
Yeah.
That's how it was with the Fit.
Like, you know what I mean? Had that thing been completely stock with my perpetual situation that we all know about now, I would have maybe been able to get the wheels. Oh, and I didn't even think about it. It had other really cool parts on it. Like, it had STI pink springs. It has STI pink springs.
Do they do anything other than be pink?
No. they're like STI tuned. Springs.
Is that like a Subaru term, pink springs?
I mean, the springs are literally pink.
Well, no, I just didn't know if that's like a thing that like Subaru people recognize. And like, oh, those are the upgraded springs. Or whatever.
I feel like it depends on the depth of your like Subaru.
Gotcha-ness.
But yeah, it had that. It had STI sway bars. He had like Moog, and it's just a bunch of little shit that would have never made it onto the car if I got it
just
stock.
bought it stock. Yeah.
I think the pros of it are like what Matt said. There are probably going to be some parts on that car that you might not be able to afford. Like my Fit, it had Type 1 racing coilovers, super nice coilovers that I wouldn't. They were like probably $2,000. I wouldn't pay $2,000.
And it
for
had
those.
works on it when you got
it. Had,
too,
yeah,
right?
it had Workmeister CR01s. I traded them right away. A few other things, tons of little Mugen bits, Mugen floor mats, even Mugen like door latches, super cool. But I think the stigma around it is when people buy someone else's build and then start taking credit for that build without making it your own.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's where the stigma comes from, at least, is, you know, there's people that will go out, they buy these like clout cars, they buy these cars that are well known on Instagram or cars that they know will grab attention and just start blasting it all over social media, entering it into every single show. You know, maybe they'll win a trophy at shows or whatever. They'll post their fucking award, and it's just like, it's corny because you did nothing on the car but like write a check for it or hand over cash or go to the bank and get your fucking massive loan for a car that gets you attention. Sorry.
So,
not sorry.
Yeah, to break that stigma, you just do your own thing with it.
Yeah, it like
make it your own.
I think that there's nothing wrong with buying somebody else's build, and like I said, I wouldn't do it personally, but also like if the right car came along, I think that there's like a big difference in that. Like a car that is fully completed, like a really crazy build that's had a lot of stuff done to it, I wouldn't buy because there's so much room for error. But like both of the cars that you guys bought that were somebody else's build,
they're pretty straightforward. Like
they were
for
just
mine,
they were just
bolt-ons and
exactly.
wheels.
It was a car that had already just had like some upgrades that you would have wanted to do, and so buying it, you're just ahead of the curve. You're just ahead. It's not like, you know, you're not necessarily like taking credit for someone else's car. The car is just already set up in a way that you would like it. And it's like, oh, okay, perfect. This is great. And then you get to enjoy it and expand on it.
The biggest thing is what you already said it. Like, that's kind of all of the stigmas rolled into one, is if you buy a car that somebody already built to whatever degree, but then you start to act like, oh, yeah, like I'm Big Dick Jimmy. I
did this. I did this.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And that's it. No, you fucking did. So don't be a dick about it. Don't walk around lying. Like, I'll tell you right now, when I got the Impreza, people would be like, man, that thing looked great. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, dude. I wish I built it at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I did with the
But
Fit.
it's like, I'm just like, I mean, but I own it now.
Yeah.
I get to enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
but I was never like, yeah, I remember when I put those NKs on there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, it is really just like a pride thing. I think that like a lot of the stigma comes from people being in that position where like they're embarrassed
And they're
to
like
admit.
overcompensating.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
embarrassed to admit that they didn't build it, they didn't have a hand in it, they literally just bought the thing, and so they overcompensate by basically just lying
Yeah.
and saying that they fucking built the thing, they did this, or like they'll explain the stuff that's done on it in a manner that comes across as they did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just let go of your pride.
I was
And just
gonna
be like,
say,
hey,
I
I
think-
bought, I didn't build the car. It's really cool. I bought it. I can tell you how all this stuff was done because I know about it, but I didn't do it.
I
Like,
think that's
Yeah.
ultimately the thing
Yeah.
is it's like, if you didn't build it, nobody cares.
No, I know.
Until you start being
Like, okay,
this and that.
imagine I like go up to someone at a show because I think the car is cool, and like I start talking to them. They're like, yeah, I actually just bought the thing. Like, I didn't build it at all, but I know a little bit about it. I'm just like, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm good. I'm not interested in the car
I don't
anymore.
care
I'm just
about
gonna walk
this
away.
car anymore.
That's not gonna happen. The car has already grabbed my attention. I'm already interested in it, regardless of what you can or cannot tell me about it. I'm still interested in the car. I'm not gonna walk away and be like, "Fuck this guy. You just fucking bought the thing."
Nobody
No,
cares.
it's
Nobody
it's
cares.
literally the car. I don't care about who it is that owns
And
it.
I don't care about the owner. It's just
The
the
reason
car.
that Dustin asked this too is because
He bought a built car,
his
yeah.
LS460 and it was already built, but he has made it his own. He's buttoned up the little things that needed to
Well,
be buttoned up. Like
The interesting thing with that car is that there was a lot of shit that was wrong with it.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I think is a common thing that happens with some of these cars. And I've seen it, Lane is a prime example too. And I love Cam. I don't mean to stir anything up, but Lane bought, a car from someone else that we know. And I think, it's nobody's fault. It's just shit happens. Lane drove the thing outside in the rain, and so like some of the bodywork stuff got fucked up. But then that unveiled that the flares weren't welded on, and so now he has gone through the entire process with Superstar to take everything off, start from scratch, new flares on there. Everything has been redone. But because it then looks the same, a lot of people will just look at the car and be like, oh, you just bought that thing. But obviously he's had to go through the entire thing, spend all this money to have it done again. And I think that's a lot of the stigma stuff that comes with it too that sucks. Like, especially with Dustin's car, like nothing about that car has changed a ton since he bought it, but he spent a ton of money, a ton of time fixing stuff on it.
It's
it's
like
just-
Ben said.
It's just part of it. Really.
It's like Ben said, like just be diligent.
Yeah.
Like basically, if you are somebody that is automotively inclined, if you kind of know what you're looking for when you go to buy a car, if you're interested in buying a modified car, by all means, go take a look at it. And I mean, if everything checks out for you, do what you're gonna do. If you have a friend that maybe knows more than you, see if they can come with you. You know what I mean?
or
Because
have them look for you.
Well,
yeah,
and-
that's kind of the thing is just be diligent because everybody takes L's.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to avoid taking a car-sized L.
Yeah, and I mean, just it's tough because once you really like get into some of these cars that have had crazy extensive amount of work done to it, if you don't know how that work was done, there's no real way to verify, how it was done. Like, unless they have like pictures, a forum or whatever, how they did so and so, blah blah blah. If you can't see what's under the surface, you're just like taking a risk on it. And that's why I wouldn't do it.
Not that I know jack shit about air, but I feel like air is especially
Air suspension stuff?
Yeah, is especially like that.
It is, but the nice thing with air suspension is it's like really easily serviceable. Like I'm more referring to
Well, I'm
like
talking
people,
about even like how they routed the lines, shit like that.
I mean, that's true, but that's still not like a crazy thing to do. I'm more like saying people who've had extensive bodywork and paint stuff done.
Yeah.
Like if a car is painted and finished, I have no idea what was done under that. Like I have no idea, how well it was prepped. I have no idea what was cut, what wasn't cut for the, that for me would just be like way too big of a risk for me to spend a bunch of money on. But, some people, I get it. It's the same thing like you said, the pros. It's how far ahead will you be if you buy that car? Like if it's an unfinished project or it's a project that's close to the look that you would like and you can just add your touch to it. You just take that risk of like, if it is not the way that you thought it would be, or if it is not built, you know, in a way that you would have done it, and something breaks and goes wrong, you then have to spend even more money to get to the position you want to be. So it can go either way. So if you are in the position to buy somebody's project, just be extremely, extremely wary of it.
Be diligent, and when you do, just make it your own. Like
And for people, if on the other side of the perspective, if you're somebody who is selling a project, literally like if I was ever to sell my LS, right, I can't lie about anything on that. Like, I have the entire documentation of me building the car on YouTube. There's pictures. There is so much information on how everything was done on that car.
They could catch Liam in 4K.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, just being honest, like having pictures of how you've done and everything. Like if you're asking a bunch of money for a project, like you need to have like documentation. You need to have pictures, evidence of how the work has been done to ask the kind of money you're asking for it. But if you're in a position where you're just trying to get out of a project and sell it like really cheap, you're losing money on it, I understand that you're probably don't care that much to share everything about it, because it just doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, you're losing a bunch of money, and it's the other person who's buying it's risk to take. And that's just kind of the nature of it sometimes. And I think that's kind of how it was for Lane. Lane got a good deal on that car for everything that was involved with it, and he's had to put more money into it than he would have liked to, but end of the day, he had that head start on it, and that's all it is. So
that's how it was with the guy who bought my Fit.
Yeah. All right, next question, which I mean, I feel like we can kind of lead into this because you were talking about Subarus. FJ Films, shout out to FJ, Fen. He said, is the future going the right direction with vehicles? And the reason I mentioned Subarus is because in the news, Subaru just announced that they are no longer making, they're no longer making an STI like variant. Like engine.
What?
Well,
I haven't heard about this.
So to specify, the like actual gas combustion engine, they are not doing an STI variant of this current generation of WRX. But
damn, the wax saga continues.
They are probably going to do like an electric or hybrid variant for the next generation.
Kind of,
so it's not totally over, but
well, see, this is the thing, right?
Hey, I'm happy about it because I hate the sound of Subarus.
Well, shut the fuck.
That sucks.
Yeah,
they sound great.
Ridiculous.
For a four-cylinder?
Let me give you context. I grew up in England, and the stigma around Subarus is very, very different.
Oh,
every guy that's in his mid-30s, it's like a midlife crisis car.
Yeah.
They have the most ignorant, shitty Subarus with the fucking livery, the rally livery.
The WRC livery.
WRC livery on the side of them, and they all sound horrible.
Yeah.
And dude, it's the same weird,
They just
greasy.
straight pipe it.
Dude, it's completely different demographic in these countries. Like when I moved to the US, I would see all the memes about people vaping in Subarus. I was like, I don't get it. And then I met kids that own Subarus and was like, kids own Subarus?
Yeah.
Like all I had ever known was 35 to 45-year-olds owning Subarus.
That's so weird to
Have
think
you
about.
ever seen that guy on TikTok that has his hair's all like greasy and stuck like forward down, and he's talking about your girl used to date a guy like me? Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Fuck. I wish I knew his name because that would make so much more sense. All of them looked just like the fucking dude. Like they're all chavs. Everybody that owns a Subaru in England is a fucking chav, and it is the worst demographic of car people ever.
So there's chavs in the UK, and then there's chads in the US.
But they're different.
It's different.
A Chad is like a bro, and a chav is like, oi, bruv, give me your fucking wallet, yeah?
So,
anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's cool. So, coming back to kind of what we were talking about, I feel like this is kind of a two-part. We could approach this from a couple different ways. First of all, I'll approach what we were just talking about. So, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, for a long time, thought about, like, you would hear the word hybrid and immediately you'd think of like a Prius. Immediately. At least that's how it always was for me.
Yeah.
So for a really long time, I discounted hybrid cars as just being like lame and slow and this and that. Well, it wasn't until I was working at Infinity where I got into what was it at the time? An M37 that was a hybrid. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, this thing's got some kick to it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up driving a Q50 hybrid, and I was like, all right, I fuck with this now. Like, and I don't remember like the exact numbers, but the hybrid engine is just like the torque is more immediate and it adds horsepower. And you know, now you're thinking about it, motorsports are there. F1 hybrid, WRC as of this year hybrid. And it's like the WRC cars now, because of the hybrids, are literally more powerful and faster than the Group B cars. I don't know anybody that doesn't watch WRC that like is a fan, if not anything else, is a fan of Group B. I would encourage you to take a look into the WRC right now because it's
pretty cool.
It's fucking crazy. But yes, also like I said, F1 has been hybrid to various levels for a couple of years, not even a couple, like a few years now. But yeah, so hybrid is obviously it uses electric power. Everybody fucking knows what hybrid is, but the point is, you can get more power for less, basically, out of a hybrid. So, and as far as like the STIs, because everybody obviously sees those for what they are as like this really rally-based car. So the timing isn't really all that bad considering the people that are like into rally to any considerate degree are going to know that WRC has gone hybrid now. Mm-hmm. So the STI also being hybrid is kind of like a logical step. Is it going to be, I have no idea. I'll have to look because I'll be honest, with me being Mr. Subaru, man, I did not know about this.
It was just yesterday.
This is news to me.
And I think the biggest thing is that people don't like change. Like it's not. It's really not
thing.
like.
It's the same thing every time. Yeah, dude. It doesn't matter what it is. Especially in the car community, like you just said, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what company's met. If it's new, it's basically going to be like 50-50. People are going to be like fans of it.
Yeah.
And then the other 50% is people that will just complain about it for no fucking just
initially it's like 80-20. People just hate it because something new is being announced, like the new BRZ, the FRS, all that, which is referenced in that question. Like that car is cool. Yeah. They made it faster. They made it sound better. It looks amazing. Granted, it's a really cool car, but when it came out, everyone was just like, that's ugly. That's so ugly. And now that it's out, everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get it.
The interesting thing with the BRZ and the 8.6 is that everybody wants it to be a turbo car. Everybody wants it to make like over 300 horsepower, but
that's not
the only people that like want and think that are the ones that haven't driven them. They're really fun cars to drive. They're really underpowered. Yes, they're not fast, but they're fucking go-karts. Yeah. I love driving BRZ's 8.6s because they're really, really fun to drive.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be stupidly fast. Like it's supposed to be a good balance of power and weight and grip and all. Like it's not. It was supposed to be a Miata competitor from the jump.
Exactly.
Like, that's not supposed to be fast.
That I think so many people. I was gonna say they lose sight of it, but it's like they've never had the sight to begin with.
Yeah.
I feel like with cars, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. But with cars, like everybody's looking for numbers. Everybody's looking for horsepower. Everybody's looking for torque, all of this stuff. But like the thing that people have to realize is manufacturers, especially when they're manufacturing sports cars, are looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are talking about. With a car like the 8.6, it's like, it's okay, take the Miata. Would a Miata be absolutely sick if it was like a 1.6? Yeah, if it was like a 1.6 liter turbo, yeah, that would be fucking sick. But you know what else? It would be damn near unmanageable.
Yeah.
Like in stock form. Mm-hmm. In stock form. It's not, they're not going to do it. It's not. They are not aiming to please the demographic with numbers. They're aiming for a car that is well balanced, handles well, and is fun to drive. It
has a specific purpose.
You know what I mean? So they look at the whole picture, whereas so many people, a car comes out, it can look awesome. In this scenario, car looks great. Car probably drives great from all the reviews that I've seen. But people are, well, they should have put it. If the car is already fun to drive, you can put a turbo on it your damn self.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like it's not available.
And, I mean, the reason that fucking Toyota's not going to make the BRZ or 86 be a fucking turbo car, because then it's going to they have a Supra. Yeah, it's going to damage their sales for the Supra. Like if you could pay $40,000 to get a BRZ that was turboed and made like 350 horsepower, why would you go buy a Supra?
Exactly.
Because if it already makes that much horsepower, you know you can get more out of it. It's probably a better chassis. It looks better than the fucking Supra, in my opinion. Like, you just wouldn't buy the Supra. So, of course, they're not going to do that.
I think the funniest thing is when people have any sort of expectation for there to be Japanese cars that come with, like, more than 400 out of the factory.
Right.
I'm sure there is one, so I'm not going to be like, there are none. But I'm really hard-pressed to think about a factory Japanese car that's above 400 horsepower. The only ones that I can think of that are at 400 are the Q50 and the Q60 Reds.
Yeah, new 400Z. Yep.
Yeah,
new Z
is a twin turbo V6 at like 400 some horsepower.
Yeah, so there you go. Right. There you go. So the only ones that I know off the top of my head is Nissan with that engine. But it's like, other than that, at least for me, if I hear about and I'm talking about any manufacturer. I'm talking about Honda, Nissan, Toyota, any of them. If I hear about a car coming out of the factory with 400 or more horsepower, I'm going to be like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Obviously, with American cars, that's the blood. You know what I mean? That's the blood, is just to, like, throw as much power as you possibly can at a car.
Yeah.
And then just kind of, like, try and design the car around that.
Yeah. But, okay. The future going the right direction. Do we feel like the future of cars, stuff going more towards hybrids, which we've already established is pretty cool. And at the end of the day, if you're getting more for your money.
Drivetrain, yes.
EV stuff.
Design, no.
Design, no.
I disagree. I think in general, yes, we're going in the right direction. Because there's a lot of hate on like the new Civic Si and the Type R and stuff. I think they're great looking cars.
Well, okay, so actually you're right. Let me run that back a little bit.
A great looking car. The new BRZ is a great looking car.
Well, you're talking about sports cars. I'm talking about cars in general.
Just regular cars.
But also like the Elantra N.
But here's what I was going to say, though. I like 50-50 agree and disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. I agree in that right when you said that, just taking a step back, car design has cycles, obviously, but it's like you think about, and I'm just going to say this at risk of people being like, but I like that car. And granted, I kind of like it too. But, like, the one that always pops in, it's one of those things where I like, snapshotted a really weird, vivid memory. I remember sitting in an intersection in Atlanta, and this was probably in, like, 2011 maybe, and looking at the Civic and being like, what happened to this? Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
And even I can't remember the chassis code. It's like the EM2s, but the sedans. That is one of the ugliest cars I think Honda has ever made. And so it's like you have these periods of time.
Like 04 Civic sedan?
Yeah.
Gross.
You have these periods of time where it's kind of like, it looks like, what, did the designers fucking fall asleep? Like, what the fuck? But then they'll bring it back around. But then I feel like it's like this expanding, contracting thing where it's like in between being cutting edge design-wise.
Yeah. There's going to be some
flops. Yeah, you have these gaps. Now, the only thing about... The reason that I disagree is that the Korean companies, Hyundai and Kia, like they're in there.
Paris.
They're like, dude, they are. No, I'm telling you right now, I have never paid attention to any of those cars.
Oh, me neither.
They're like on an upswing right now. Like their design, I would say, is cutting edge.
And I think it's because they have to.
Well, right.
Because as a company, they're not taken seriously because they're from a region that everyone's like, no, I never buy a fucking Korean car.
Right.
And they're like, they really have to like prove themselves. And so they're throwing a lot into design to grab your attention. And then you actually realize they're like great cars underneath too. Like, oh shit. All right. Like they're putting themselves on the map.
But one of the, at least in the US, at least I can't really speak to anywhere I don't live, but in the US, because it is an SUV market, it is just kind of like the continuation of that thing that started to happen in the 2000s where everything just started to like...
Getting big.
They just started to like blur together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Design-wise, everything started looking like everything
Very
else.
Similar,
so sports cars are one thing for the reasons that you said and for the reasons that we were previously talking about, where the sports cars are like where the manufacturers at really trying to like express themselves as far as like the legacy of sports cars go. But like I said, at the market at large, I don't like where it's going.
Yeah.
I can kind of agree. I'm like up and down on it because, like I said, it is like, you know, nobody likes change. And so I've definitely caught myself multiple times, like when a car has come out, being like, I hate that, not interested. And then, you know, a year later, I start seeing them, I maybe see them modified, and I'm like, I kind of like that.
You know what's
I
a
like
perfect
my own
example
words.
of that?
What?
The new WRX. And I'll tell you why.
I haven't seen a modified one yet.
Okay, so no, I'm going to tell you why. So it was exactly the same. When it first came out, like when they first showed it, like when I watched the Doug DeMuro video, shout out Doug DeMuro.
This.
So
This is a podcast.
So when I watched the video, he was talking about how many people hate the trim. I also fucking hate the trim.
I don't think I paid attention.
I
to
don't
it.
know.
Garbage.
I have no idea why they decided to do that. Like if it's a pseudo.
Oh wait! You're talking about the wheel
black
arches?
Yeah.
Plastic trim all over the fucking place on
it
the
just
car. Gross.
it looks really dumb. That is very much a factory like pseudo off-road vehicle thing to do, and I get it. Rally car, okay.
Yeah, but they're doing that with the Outback Wilderness and stuff like that. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't belong on that car.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to say. Okay, the more I looked at it as I was watching that Doug DeMuro, and just the more that I looked at it in passing, I'm like, well, hold on. And absolutely, they're going to be available. Fucking, of course they are. Aftermarket. If you paint match those, that's like probably, I would venture to, I don't know millimeters because obviously, but like that's probably going to be a good like 8 to 10 millimeters wider.
Right.
Like,
it kind of looks like it's a wide body type deal.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? So if you just paint match it and just put completely smooth, once everybody gets used to it, people are going to come. You know what I mean? Because like the design language generally is still there. Now, I will say the rear end, fucking awful. They literally just copy and pasted the BRZ rear end and put it on the WRX.
Yeah, but they made it smaller.
Exactly.
It looks like a cross-eyed WRX, which, you know, if you're cross-eyed,
very
it's fine.
strange.
It's fine.
It was a very
But don't
strange
put it on a car.
decision. Because it's like, granted, I'm sure to whatever degree it makes sense, like aerodynamically, but there have been multiple cars like that just, you know, in the course of, you know, cars being made where it's like the whole car is normal, and then they're like, let's try as hard as we can to make this a budget speed tail, and just bring all of it to like it's like, why?
Okay, so the other thing that, like, before we move on from this question, which I don't want to drag it on too long because we've been on this for a second, but the other thing that is interesting to me and like I think ties into this question is, you know, if we think whether we think, you know, we're going in the right direction with cars or not, we're going in that direction.
Yeah, it's going to march on regardless.
And like, especially right now, like with how everything is, you know, with gas prices being, you know, as high as they are, is this now like the turning point?
Well,
that's where I'm
that's
like,
honestly a really, really good point. And I was thinking about that the other day. Because
you
this
gotta think,
is
like,
going to mold.
the last time we had a gas crisis
process.
was what? Was it 2008?
The one that I can think of was when I was the one that I could think of that caused like massive changes in how cars were being designed and what engines they were putting in cars was when I was really young. I don't remember the year, but I think that was the only other time that I had seen prices even remotely close to this.
I want to say it
recession
was
hit.
2008 was when we had like the last like crazy surge, but back then there wasn't a huge demand for us to change like
Right.
how cars are made, you know, all this shit about emissions. Like people were taking, you know, the fucking climate change thing way less serious then than they are now. And so now that this is happening again, it's like, oh fuck, is this going to be the point where like all of the because you got to think everything's kind of like tying together right now. Like the COVID thing, chip shortage, production slowed down like crazy. You can't buy new cars. The car market is super high. All of a sudden the gas prices go up. This is the exact perfect time. This is literally the perfect storm for them to switch the entire fucking industry.
You guys want to start a new conspiracy that Big Electric started COVID so they could start pushing electric cars?
Dude, honestly,
they started COVID. They started the Russian war. They started all the gas prices.
You're real close to the mic there.
I don't want it to echo.
But
Sit back, it echoes.
We need to turn you down a little bit.
no, he's at a good spot.
Okay.
Um,
I'm inexperienced in this.
It is really interesting though, because this could be like over the next year. This
I hadn't
could
really
be the
thought
turning
about
point
that.
for the
You're
industry.
absolutely right.
Like
I
this,
mean, everything is different.
right. If they're all of a sudden, if they're like, okay, well, gas prices are going to change this, blah, 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 let's just keep the gas prices high. And I don't know how that works. That's definitely not how that works. But, if the gas price, if the gas prices stay high, then it pushes manufacturers and the consumers more to electric vehicles. And then all of a sudden that becomes the trend. That is what people are buying.
Right.
And then that's how they just naturally cause gasoline engines to become obsolete. Because you just push it out because that's not what the demand is for anymore. Which is
just
so
my
scary.
one little tiny conspiracy societal thing this episode. That would be fucking hysterical because that would inversely cause massive problems for the oil companies that are ultimately charging us out the ass right now.
Yeah, but
by them doing that, if that pushes us further faster into electric motors, that's going to be fucking hysterical.
It is. It's I don't know. To me, it's like it's a little scary because I'm not ready for the switch yet.
Yeah.
Like there are so many gasoline vehicles I want.
Hold on, slow down though. It's the thing that is important to remember is price-wise. I mean, everything's changing price-wise anyway, so that's going to be a disaster if it's going to be a disaster. But as far as gas stations are not going to go anywhere.
No.
Having a gas car is going to be more expensive, but it's not like gas.
Right.
The entire world runs, so it's like it's going to take an unbelievably long time for electric cars to really get.
No, for sure.
You know
but
what I mean?
One of two things is going to happen. Either the market for gasoline vehicles is going to go down. I think it's going to go up.
It's going to skyrocket.
It's going to skyrocket, but then eventually it will come back down, which hopefully will provide like a great entry
Maybe
for
I can get an
enthusiasts.
NSX in like 20 years.
Honestly,
No,
I don't
just
think
gonna get even worse,
anything that is an enthusiast vehicle that like people really, really like that is desirable is going to go up crazy in price because you can't buy anything like it. But regular vehicles like the Crown Majesta that are just cool vehicles will go down crazy in price because there's no demand for them. And then there's especially no demand for them because nobody wants a fucking gasoline engine.
I think that is the part of all this that's most interesting to me is what's going to happen to V8s. Because so all of the companies, and I was about to say the Japanese companies, but all of the companies are on this now for obvious reasons. So they have really, I'm going to wrap it up, but they have really economical engines where it's like a small engine with a turbo, right? Mm-hmm. So they're all ahead of the game for when this happened. Like Ben, like your car.
My car is a crossover SUV. It's a 1.6 liter turbo, but
the gas is still hurting you, but the gas is not hurting you nearly as much as it's hurting somebody with a fucking Ram 1500.
Yeah, which if you have a big ass car right now, sell it.
You know what I mean?
Cash out. It's a really good market right now to do that.
It's like,
well, I would cash out as soon as you can because that market's about to crash. If there's no demand for big vehicles with big engines, I'm glad I got out of my truck, but like. This is probably the time to sell your truck.
Yeah,
honestly,
sell it now,
market's high.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
buy a Honda Fit.
It's like at this moment, none of us really know how long or how much worse these prices are going to get. So you know what I mean? If there's people with these V8s that are, complain as much as you want, but the prices are the prices right now. So if you're having to go fill up your car and every time it's like $200 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
You bet your ass they're going to be getting the fuck out of that really quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which, to move on from that topic, we're not complaining about gas prices. We're still paying.
No. I mean, this is just
it's whatever. It's just part of it.
Yeah, as pertains to what we're talking about.
I didn't want to sound like those people that are all over Facebook. Like
this became a political podcast really quickly.
These gas prices are insane. Shut up.
I did that. No.
Oh my god. No.
Private oil companies did that, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyways, next question. What newer cars would you guys consider building 2010 or newer? Matt, you want to start?
2013 Honda Fit. That's it.
Benny's already told us his answer. White 2013 Honda Fit. I'll give you a second to think if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so me, I don't know how well this like fits into that. I mean, there's a lot of cars that are newer that I would love to build, but like specifically in my like realistic grasp, I've always wanted to do a CLS AMG. Mercedes, it's the first generation CLS. It's a really, really weird body shape, but like the newer than 2010 one, the C63 version. I have a friend that has one that's on VIP Modulars. It's white. Beautiful car. I think it's the perfect platform for a VIP GT build because it's like it's a long sedan that has like a crazy roofline to it. It already looks really aggressive and sporty, and I think that it would be really easy, you know, with some subtle, well, not even subtle, like aggressive bodywork stuff, a different kit. You could build that thing to look so crazy. And I've seen a few of them out there that are sick, and like the one that I'm talking about, my friends, is ridiculously dope, but like I have some plans for one of those that would just, I think would be crazy. Like that car is the perfect platform to do like a really, really aggressive flare, huge fucking wheels, and make a bunch of power with it too. Like do a turbo setup on it, something ridiculous. So yeah, that's one of the cars that I would definitely like to build. The other is I really want an Aston Martin Rapide as a daily, like cool daily VIP build. Probably not going to happen because that's very expensive for a car that is not reliable at all. But anyways, Matt.
So I have a USDM. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still a Japanese car, but a USDM and a JDM. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. USDM is a 2014 Subaru STI hatchback. Mm-hmm.
The last year of the hatchback.
I think the hatch was the best looking Subaru that ever made.
Absolutely.
I agree. It was one of the best. But anyway, it would definitely be that, and I would literally basically try and make a replica of Peter Solberg's, like the last Subaru WRC car.
Yeah.
Because that would just be so fucking cool. And I actually know, shout out Lawn Sport in Japan, basically makes... They are basically the shop where you could buy all of the parts to make a complete WRC replica.
Did you say Lawn Sport?
Lawn Sport, yeah.
LAWN?
That literally sounds...
LAUN Sport, yeah.
Wow, that just sounds like a lawnmower company. That's interesting. I was just curious.
Racing lawnmowers?
Yeah, lawn sport. We provide fucking lawnmowers that are more
stripes for your lawnmower,
more efficient for mowing your yard. You know.
And then the JDM is definitely a Mark X GRMN.
I thought you were just gonna say NA1 NSX. I was like,
that's not.
Oh yeah, that's old as fuck. Never mind.
And my little extra that is an NSX is the most recent and last NSX Type S. Have you seen that shit?
Beautiful.
It looks like a fucking GT3 car.
I think mine actually would have to be, if we could get it in the U.S., GR Yaris.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, GR Yaris.
Yeah, I think, dude, all three of us would own a GR Yaris if we could.
Day.
They're such cool cars.
So cool. The definition of a hot hatch. Like, perfect.
I'm just going to throw this out here because it's funny. I mean, me and Ben joked about it last night, but Carly said, do any of you have a song completely memorized? And if you do, give us a taste. And me and Ben were joking about how we're going to do, like, an entire song a cappella on the podcast.
No. I do know one. Bohemian Rhapsody. And the thing about it is, like,
God, you're so white.
Minus a few words, I can literally sing the entire song. You want to know why I know that? Mm-hmm. Because one night I was driving home in Atlanta completely by myself. I sang, I don't know why. I don't know what demon possessed me to do this, but I sang that entire fucking song, including the parts where it's like, like on Tuesday. It was, if somebody saw me in there doing that, they would have been like, he's lost it. He's lost his fucking mind.
Boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a... You see what I'm saying? Like,
I was joking about you being super white, but my song that I know start to finish is Bonfire by Childish Gambino, which I feel like everyone who is also like 23 or 24 years old knows that song.
See,
like you hear it in a car with your homies when you're like 17.
Riff
you're like,
it off though.
Like,
I can't riff it off though. If you can actually hit all of those lyrics, that's pretty
Ben,
cool.
I thought you were gonna do Tequila.
Well, if we could cue it up, yeah. Also Tequila, I know that one.
No, you have to do it a cappella. Just literally,
I already got silence for a minute.
No, don't even do that part. We all have to just be like playing it in our heads.
The timing right. Tequila.
Tequila.
All right. Anyway, moving on from that, because thank you, Carly.
Thanks, Carly.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
that.
the non-car question.
Self-plug.
What do you think of crossovers being slammed? Example, at Coochie Style Flex.
About it.
Great example.
Sick name. Crazy.
It's a slammed flex on
Isn't it like crayons or something?
the Weds Crayons something.
Yeah.
I think Vishnu's maybe? No.
The flex is the really boxy one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. It's like kind of lower roof line to it. It's
Yeah.
really
That
cool,
thing
actually.
I'm fully into flex, because the flex is actually
Flex?
it's a really cool car because like dude you can get them with the EcoBoost in them and like make a bunch of power with them.
Assad had one of those.
Dude, they're fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, Assad had one of those.
I have a
that he
Hyundai
built.
Tucson. I want to lower that thing. I'm all about slam crossover.
Yeah, I
think
mean-
it's cool as shit.
The same thing that me and Matt have said a million times, and sorry it does get old, but like if you're able to like build a car with vision, you know, if you can take a platform that nobody else has looked at and see potential in it and like build it, or like just do simple stuff with it to make it look good, I'm all for it.
Even if
Like,
I
it
don't
doesn't
really
matter
like
what it is.
Even if I don't really like how you set
Yeah.
it up, like I'm still gonna respect the fact that you looked at that car and was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Right.
do it.
Do something cool with what you got.
It could just be the situation of like, exactly like you said, that's what you have. It's
Yeah.
like, what can I do with this to make it my own? Just do that.
And
Dude,
that's kind of what you said they do in the UK, right?
oh yeah, 100%. Like big thing in the UK is like you can't afford to have like the top model car. You can't afford to have all these cars with big engines, whatever. So it's like whatever you have or whatever's available to you, you just make it your own. And it, you know, these people have spent so much money and 5 years building these crazy cars.
Oh,
What the fuck was that? I don't know if you guys heard that, but like that was a really loud noise. I think it was outside. to be
yeah. It
honest.
sounded like it was hitting against the garage door.
What the fuck? Maybe they're picking up the dumpster. It's really loud.
They have to be. I
Yeah.
just heard it go.
It's like construction noises. Sorry, guys. This podcast is just, it's not the best studio. in the
Guys,
world.
please get us out of this
Recording in your
garage.
Yeah.
If
someone wants to give us like $3,000 for a studio.
Here, that's
Damn.
perfect time to tie it into our sponsor for the show.
Yeah, bro. I swear to God, Liam is so talented at this shit.
Wheel Price. They are an app for selling wheels and buying wheels, of course. Really cool app. It's set up just like the forums were back in the day. And it's perfect for guys like us, guys like you, and girls like you. Whoever is listening to this podcast, it's a perfect fit for you guys. If you're into cars, super enthusiastic about this stuff, specifically show cars, or maybe just, you know, you just have a day like, or you even have a crossover. I'm sure there is something on that app for you. And so, yeah, it's a really cool app. And if you would like to support this podcast further, please support the people that support us. I've chosen to partner with Wheel Price because I believe in what they're doing. 3 guys that are, you know, just putting a cool app out there for people like us. They're not really making a bunch of money off of it. But they're just trying to make a difference. They're trying to like provide something that's useful for people. And so please do go check it out. It's an awesome app. It's laid out really well. And
I'm
it's-
always so quiet. Wheel Price. I promise when I get money again, I'll get wheels off of Wheel Price.
Same.
Well, no, but it's cool. And I spend a little bit of time on there every week kind of going through and looking for wheels. And my recent obsession has been, for some reason with the Crown Majesta, that BBS RSs just look so good on that car. And so, yeah, I've been like browsing around on Wheel Price for RSs, and there is a bunch on there. So if you're in the market for RSs, go take a look. There's a bunch of different BBSs. I'm pretty sure I saw a set of RS2s on there too. But yeah, you know, if you guys want to see this podcast do bigger and better things and us get a studio space eventually, please go support our sponsors.
Where you won't hear the dumpster being taken down the street.
Don't talk about me like that.
But no, it you know, for us to continue doing this show and make it a better show, it is important that you guys go and support our sponsors. And you know, I wouldn't partner with anybody if I didn't think it was a good fit. So yeah, go check out Wheel Price. Awesome guys, and we're hoping to have them on the show at some point. At least one of the guys from Wheel Price. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, go support them. Go download the app. go sell wheels on there, go buy wheels on there. We appreciate you guys. Thank you to Wheel Price, and
thank you, Real Price. Really quick on the wheels line there.
Oh, please.
I have alluded to several times on the podcast about how I want to basically create like a going list about cool OEM wheels. If you want to see that list and maybe contribute to that list, get on our Discord.
Oh, you're doing it on there? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's actually really cool.
Discord exclusive.
You were talking about Liam being real good about his transitions into ad reads. Ooh. Shout out Discord reads. I mean,
maybe that should be the me and Liam can have a little competition to see who can like
do an ad
be
read.
more smooth about. I'll do Discord. You can do Wheel Price.
But I want to do some Discord too because I'm really excited about it.
It's fine. Okay. You can. Okay. I won't be upset.
All right. So this is a question for Benny. It's from our friend Alex McGinnis. So Benny, what do you think might be the next modified car for you? I know you're in no rush though.
Well, first of all, Alex, I love you. And if you guys aren't familiar with Alex's builds, he has a really cool like 55 Chevy now. He has a Asher van that was LS swapped and does some rowdy burnouts, all sorts of cool shit. So he has good taste. Go follow him. It's like at Alex McGinnis09, I think is his Instagram.
I pulled it off the screen because I had to go to the other account to look at questions, so I don't have it. But Alex McGinnis is awesome, and if you just search Alex McGinnis on Instagram, I'm sure you'll find it.
He's a cool dude, wonderful dude. Yeah. But to answer his question, I have like 6,000 vehicles running through my mind that I want to do stuff to at all times. But the one that's current right now, because me and Liam stayed up until like 3 a.m. watching VHS videos on like 90s VIP cars.
Sorry, Matt, you missed out on that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I found an 89 Honda Legend sedan over in Nashville. It's a Legend exclusive or something. Year? So it's an 89. So it's got the turbo V6. It's perfectly boxy and like it's like gray on black leather interior.
Was this the one trim. That was it at Duncan Imports?
Yeah, it was at Duncan Imports. Which if you are wanting to find a cool right-hand drive car for a decent price, like Liam just did, go to Duncan Imports, Driver Motorsports. There's a lot of options out there for like 8
Hoshi
to 12
Motors
grand.
in Georgia too. I don't know them personally, but Dustin bought a car from them, and I've seen them post a bunch of stuff. Check them out. I think Lucas got Elizabeth's Gloria from them too.
Yeah.
So Hoshi Motors, they're in Georgia. If you're close to this area. Like I said, Logan Lamb, the guy, OZ Imports, that's who I got my car through. There's a bunch of different importers out there. I know that some guys are like really going crazy on prices right now. So, find what you can. And some of these underrated chassis, like the Crown Majesta and like Honda you were saying, the Honda Legend is, probably good buys, especially in the market right now.
Because especially after seeing those videos last night, like, all I've ever really been introduced to as far as VIP goes, or everything that I've researched in it, I haven't really gone down like a rabbit hole like these two guys have. I haven't seen a lot of the 90s styling, stuff like that, where it was like just really cool kits, not a lot of camber, cool wheels. Like everything was well done, but nothing was too over the top. And it just looks so good. Like some of the crown saloons there, some of the, like, just perfectly boxy. Like I love 80s car styling because everything was super boxy, lots of really hard angles, stuff like that. It's really fun cars to shoot. But also it's really cool to have like a sort of vision for those and see what sort of modern tie-ins you could do with that.
Right. And the interesting thing too, with like a lot of people don't realize about VIP cars is, I was even explaining this to Ben last night, cars that are like crazy low, big camber, super aggressive fitment, that's new. That is like within the past 15 years, really, maybe border 20 years. That's a fairly modern interpretation of VIP cars. VIP cars originally, like back in the early mid 90s, in their original form they were these, like right then they were brand new. These cars were right there and then, like off the showroom floor, UCF 10 Celsius, Crown Majestas, the Crown Royal Saloon, all of these platforms, rear wheel drive, V8 sedans, some of them V6 turbos, whatever. These guys were buying them brand new, throwing body kits on them that all of these companies back then like were making right then and there.
Well, plus, I mean, you had the individual garage. Like at that time, they've since become bigger, but at the time, you had individual garages that were just making, like, they would go buy the car and then make a one-off.
Exactly.
Kit for
Like it was very much. It's comparable to how, like, you know, how like like Roush and Ford are. It was similar to that. Like there were a lot of people, like there were a lot of these companies that were just buying these cars, building them out, and selling them as a package. And so like you could, I mean, I couldn't give you an exact example, but a lot of these cars they were brand new at the time. They literally just had like a big, cool looking, sporty, whatever body kit on it. They had cool wheels, and they were maybe lowered a little bit. But like it, you know, all the crazy stuff that we see nowadays is very, very new.
They would use the bigger wheels to fill the arches too.
Exactly.
Later on, that they did that by just like lowering them,
right?
And
you
putting
know,
camber. But like back then, they would just fill the arches with bigger wheels.
right? And obviously, it's progressed a lot since then. But it's really, really cool, especially like for me, because I'm one of those people that gets carried away with the modern interpretation. Like my LS is a prime example. Like that car is, I mean, you could technically say it's a VIP car, but it's way overboard. It's super fucking low. You know, it's crazy amounts of camber. It's a really sick looking car, and it's exactly what I wanted to do with it. But with the Crown Majesta, like if I was going to build it, I would kind of take more of the approach of like, okay, well, what were people doing in 93 to 95 when this car was out?
Yeah.
You know, BBS RSs, boxy looking kit, really, really, like, don't slam it to the ground. Don't
Minimal
add camber.
yeah.
Like, don't do crazy stretch tires. Lots of little interior tweaks. Do an audio system. The things that, like, people were doing in the, you know, early to mid 90s is definitely the take I would do for that car, just because it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I love nerding out on this stuff that, like, I don't know. It's just like, it's period correct. It's authentic. It's just weird stuff that I feel like most people don't know.
I will always love period correct stuff. You could honestly, for me, you could take like the most boring car ever, but if you make it like a time capsule, I'll be interested.
Yeah. I think, to go back to the question at hand as well, I think I would love to buy something, you know, 10 grand right-hand drive older sedan, like a Honda Legend, something like that.
Yeah.
There was also a Honda Legend Coupe, same year.
Those are
gray on black.
Fucking move.
Oh,
Those,
so
that
cool.
generation, especially the generation after that, like the early 90s generation.
Yeah.
Bro, one
So
thing that I will never it will haunt me for the rest forever. Again, didn't have enough money at the time, but I was working at a Honda dealership, and the service manager had a white Legend. It was like a white 93 Legend Coupe.
Ooh.
Wait, did they sell them to the U.S. market?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that the coupes were ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever.
I'll show them to you. They're super cool. But it was a fucking 5-speed manual, and it had 39,000 miles on it.
Damn.
And he was selling it for like, what was he selling? He was selling for like $8,000 at the time, I think.
Dude, I found a Mitsubishi Diamante last night that was like super low miles, gray, and it was a 5-speed manual.
Really?
It was like a VIP sedan, all original.
Those things are
it was
cool, man.
5-speed. It was so cool. I was like, damn, that's
the Diamantes are super slept on. Honestly, dude, there are some really cool Mitsubishi platforms that are good for VIP, but they're just not popular.
Right.
So, but like Diamantes,
because it makes me question the reliability of them.
Proudia is basically like Mitsubishi's answer to like, oh no, not the Century, but like, you want to know something funny? It's so cool that I get to say this on the podcast. So a 2015, 16 Infiniti M37, Mitsubishi Proudia at that time, literally the exact same car, just with a Mitsubishi badge on it.
Interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of just cool underrated chassis like in Japan, and just people don't know about, and there's good potential with them. So if you're in the market for a car right now, like look towards that, because some of these are really cheap. I've seen a bunch of really interesting just under the radar chassis sell for insanely cheap with super low miles, and it's like that would just be a great car to drive. But as far as a project goes, it like nobody's touched it in this country. Like I saw a Mazda Sentia sell for $6,000.
Those Sentias are fucking cool too.
I've looked them up because I saw it, and like when I was searching around for cars, I was like, yo, this thing's really cool. It's really cheap.
They're another platform they use.
Yeah, I started deep diving into like, yo, what have people done in Japan to these cars? And I would see all these pictures of like crazy VIP ones. I'm like, that thing is sick. And the only reason I didn't buy it is just because I don't know enough about it and I don't trust a Mazda to be my fucking daily for the time being. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to buy that.
Modern day Mazdas, good 90s Mazdas.
We were, so whose video was it yesterday with the Cosmo?
Oh, Adam LZ's video with the Cosmo?
So me and Liam were watching the video. I guess he just got a Mazda Cosmo. And I knew they were rotary, but I didn't realize, I believe they're 6-rotor. Unless I'm wrong, I believe they're 6-rotors because I saw 6 runners on the intake manifold. But I had seen them before. There's actually somebody around here that has one that I've seen once or twice. But I was telling Liam, I'm like, dude, granted, that's like basically a Mazda SC. Yeah. But like low roof line, long car, long front end.
Luxury coupe.
Super luxury coupe, like super thin headlights, taillights. Like that, really cool that would be sick.
We need more people to do luxury coupes, I think. Like even like old Mercedes coupes. I think like they're fucking cool ass cars.
SCs for me will always be like my my mind like dream hot boy car.
I think that they're dope, but yeah, like I don't know. The SC for me is now ruined because there's so many of them, and I've seen so many really bad ones. And that is a car that you can make look bad really easily because it's got really weird lines to it, like that body line that runs all the way down and then goes into the front fender, like into the arch. Yeah. You can make that look so bad so easily. So I'm like. SCs, I wanted an SC. I actually went and looked at some, and I ended up with an LS, and I'm glad I did. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of like off SCs. But I want to see more big body coupes that people are like doing like in a VIP style. I think it's fucking cool as shit. So I'd definitely like to see more.
We got time for probably one more before we gotta go to Riverside staff meeting. Shout out Riverside. Go to Riverside next month. Love you, Mason.
Let's see.
I also love you, Mason.
Does Dolly even know Paul? No. She's never met Paul.
A couple quick questions that I can kind of like get off really quick. Silver_surfer_CV1 said, so when are the infamous VIPness decals going to be dropping? Because that moment was hilarious. I'm not sure, but we definitely need to do something because it is hilarious. Not a question, but I want to thank you guys for giving me the confidence to go to shows again. It's from Cruise Ship 992. Dude, that's awesome.
Do it. Come to Riverside. Say hello.
Definitely. That's really cool that, you just listening to this show has put you in a position where you feel comfortable to go to car shows again. I love that for you. So I'm glad that we can do that. Will Hall __93 said, how do you get started doing those super sick 3D automotive renderings? And what software is used? Matt, you can probably help with that a little bit. Don't deep dive on it.
No, I won't. So my immediate answer is Garrett, but I'll tell you this. Stay tuned because probably in or around Riverside Week, we're going to have Garrett on the show. Yeah. And I think he is obviously going to be the right one to kind of give anybody like yourself that's interested in getting into it kind of like the first step. So just like hang with us for a little while and Garrett will be on here and he'll be able to give you a great answer.
Yeah, and none of us are experienced in that. We just, we like it and think it's really cool and so we're interested in it. But yeah, like I said,
nothing too.
It's coming.
You can DM me on Instagram at Substance Matt. You who asked the question, I didn't quite catch the name, but you who asked the question, you can DM me on Instagram, and I will send you a invite link to Garrett's Discord, and that is a great place to kind of like feel your way around, ask people, and do all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Talking of Garrett, this is Garrett's question. Sad.machines. We'll have this as our last question. Sorry, I got to burp a bunch. I ate right before I came on here. It's been... if you three would build a car together, what would it be?
Ooh. Literally any of our cars, because all of our input goes into all of our cars.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I was going to say, we all like pretty much agreed on having a GR Yaris. So. Yeah. Okay, well, how would us three build a GR Yaris together?
I wouldn't go too crazy with it.
No, neither would I.
I would just go like good suspension, grippy tires, good cool wheels, maybe a kit with it.
I'm going to say...
street spec rally car.
Yes.
I was just going to say, like, black car, bronze gram lights.
Yeah.
That's
Ortiz.
so just a one piece wheel that fits on that car. But for some reason, either black with bronze or like white with white.
Black car, big ass
red
fucking
wheels.
WRC. I quit. No,
Matt
so
hates red wheels.
black car, big ass rally wing, and white. I'm just such a black car with white wheels guy. Everybody hates it, but that's just I find
that's fair. Cool. I mean, it does look good.
So either black car with white OZ gravels or black car with gunmetal OZ gravels.
I wouldn't do OZ gravels on that car.
Closed face wheels on that car?
You have to get them. You have to get them the right size.
Ford.
You have to get them the right size because if they're too big, for me, it looks kind of whack. Like there's one in Japan
17s with some
that
tire.
I've seen that I really like. But the OZs are just like an inch too big, and it kind of takes away from it for me a little bit. But
I just feel like OZ gravels, being that it's such a like nostalgia wheel for me,
Well,
I could only imagine it on older cars. Like a newer car, I'd be like,
Liam, have we not talked enough? Like, have you not noticed that I would
No.
apply those wheels to like 80% of
No,
cars?
I know exactly. I'm just
Now,
saying
in
if
turn, I would too.
we're building a car together, I wouldn't do gravels.
He wouldn't
Couldn't do
allow it. He wouldn't allow it. But
Canceled.
I don't know, dude. If we did it together, like that would be.
I mean, I'd let you put them on there so I could see what they look like.
That would be-
I would be honest with you. I'd be like, nah.
Well, I mean,
I can't say that because I haven't.
I'm
seen
gonna
it,
be
so.
honest though. I feel like even though we are all three of us are about it, and we could definitely make a cool one. In practice, us trying to share setting up a GR Yaris would almost be difficult because
we all three have such wildly
we all have
different-
such different styles, and a GR Yaris is a very sport-oriented car. Like you can't make a fucking VIP. Well, okay, you can.
I wouldn't care to do that with that car.
But
anyway,
do you
that's
know
why
what
it'd
I'm
be
saying?
fun.
It's like that car is really cool. That's one of those cars for me that, like from stock, it has a very pointed direction. Like it's hard to ignore.
Yeah.
How fucking sport-oriented.
Yeah, you
car is.
couldn't like. I would not build a stancy GR Yaris. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But all right, I think that we're good on questions there. And I did say earlier in the episode that I did want to talk about some stuff related to LEP. So I hate to bring this up, but from relatively soon, let's just say like Riverside is going to be the last drop I do for LEP. That will probably be the last time that I do any kind of merchandise stuff for LEP. It'll just be the stuff that's available at Riverside. So I'm going to have, the tan windbreakers like I've done before, and a cool shirt design for that show exclusively. I may make some of it available for pre-order for some people that are online, maybe just my mailing list or people in the Discord. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be the last time I do something for LEP, and it sucks, and it's not what I want to do, but unfortunately I have to. I'm not really in a position to keep taking so many risks with LEP and putting so much money into it. The past couple of years, I've literally devoted my whole life and everything I do to, the merchandise stuff and growing the brand, and I've taken so many losses, and it gets to a point where I cannot afford. Well, from the jump, I've not really been able to afford to take losses, but it's just gotten bad enough now that I'm like, yeah, I cannot continue doing this. This last drop did so unbelievably bad, and it sucks. I put a lot of work and time and effort into it, and it doesn't go the way I want it to. But I'm not taking this as I'm not giving up. I don't want anybody to, be like, oh, well, dude, just keep at it, keep your head up. Like, I really do appreciate, those kind words and everything. But this isn't, this isn't me giving up on it. This is not me just like, yep, I'm completely done, blah, blah, blah. I am taking this as a point to reevaluate and kind of just figure out my plans moving forward. I think that I will be dissolving LEP as a company, just because, like I've joked about so many times, over the name. I never wanted to have that name. That's
the only reason he's dissolving the guy. He's just so sick of.
But no, it really it's time. And so I appreciate all of the support that I've had from everybody over the years. It's been awesome to see it grow and really like take its, its own path. But LEP as a brand, I think will be dying off. And I will be focusing more of my efforts into Substance, as the podcast, the Discord, and maybe getting into some branding stuff related to this, but not too much. I'm going to be taking a big break from a lot of that stuff, and I may do a few drops here or there because at the end of the day, I still have to fund finishing the LS, and I really cannot do that without the sales of merchandise stuff. So if you guys do want to see the car done, if you see me do any kind of drop, please support it. But yeah, I will be taking a huge break from LEP stuff, and the YouTube channel will still remain under that name, but my efforts will be more focused on creating content, growing a better audience across different platforms, including the Discord. I really want to engage with you guys on that. And
that's so funny. I'm gonna transfer from being a non-present boomer in Garrett's Discord to being a non-present boomer in my own Discord.
But yeah, it's a little sad, and it's something that I've been contemplating for a while. And the start of this year, I was really trying to take a different direction with LEP. Taking the step away from doing events and focusing more online. And I think the realization just kind of hit that I'm not in a position to really push everything online. We do sales great in person, but I don't enjoy going to events and spending all the money to be there. And so I'm going to take a break and focus on building an audience again, because I think that that's where we're lacking. I think that this podcast has huge potential to build a really, really good audience of people that want to be here and are interested in the stuff that we're doing. And I don't want you guys to get the impression that I'm doing this just to monetize you guys. That's not it at all. But everything I do is from a business standpoint, and I very much care about this podcast and the value that it can add and is adding to the community. And I think that it would be better for me to put my effort into this, not really worry about making money at all. Literally just find go get a job, go do something else to make money to pay my bills. And just focus all of my passion and effort back into, doing the stuff that I really care about, which is making content, maybe coming up with designs, whether they go anywhere or not. Maybe I'll teach myself graphic design stuff in the time away, but focusing passion into this
something
is
just
important.
Really quick, something that you and I have talked about that I think would be cool to do is, like he said, neither of us really have a lot of money to throw around, so I think they would, at least to start, be very much like small batch kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But between me and Liam, I think we're going to be able to, even though I'm sure, in some cases other artists would be used to, get out what we want, I think we are going to be able to do some small batch, really specific substance related merch, just because those of you that bought, first of all, thank you to all of you who bought Substance merch. That means a lot to us.
Oh, absolutely. We do appreciate that.
I think the thing for me and Liam both is this is very much a vehicle for us to just be creative.
Yeah.
100%. So I think I won't give you a timeline because we don't know what it is right now, but I think I can tell you for sure that at some point we are going to be able to come out with some Substance merch just so you can kind of.
But yeah, guys, I mean, I hate to drop that on you. I feel like this has been a really good, fun, positive episode, and that's kind of negative. But
you just ruined it.
I don't want you guys to be upset or whatever. Don't feel bad for me. All of the things that I've done have been decisions that I have made. I've led myself down certain paths. I've made mistakes. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I'm just taking, strategic decision here to take a leave from LEP and take this as an opportunity to rebrand, to do different things and really just focus my efforts into the stuff that is super important, instead of, working so hard at something that just isn't moving the way I want it to and ultimately losing money on it, stressing over it. And if I continue doing this, it will ruin my life and I will not be able to do anything ever again. I absolutely have to take this time to focus on myself and get away from it to just refigure it out.
Are you breaking up with ELP? Or ELP? LEP?
Yes. Yes,
Hey.
I'm breaking up with LEP.
But also, like, on that note, too, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Because
No, it doesn't
those
at all.
strategies and stuff are what you've done since the beginning of LEP. Like, there was a time where you were building that audience and your subscriber count jumped up like crazy.
Exactly.
You know, like, there was where you didn't put a lot of effort into merch and
No,
all
I mean,
that stuff. You
the
put your
times
effort
that we've
into after movies.
Exactly. The times that I've seen the biggest growth and response from people is when I was literally just focused on being passionate about making videos.
Yeah.
Well,
And that'll be fun with the three of us. We can hang
Oh,
out.
absolutely.
We got weekends off.
one thing I want to say, I'm sure I can speak for both me and Ben, but I'm sure I can speak for everybody that's ever been a fan of yours, man. Like, we're all so fucking proud of you, dude.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You know, even though this is kind of like the end of the line for that, like,
There's
look
still
more. Look at what you've done. Look at what you created. You know, look at the group of people that you've kind of. I don't want to like make you cry or anything, but like, look at what you created. You know what I mean? Like, you did that. You put in all of the work. You put in all of the hours, the time, the thought. And it's like, so yes, this is the end of the line for that particular thing. But I know, Ben knows, and anybody that knows you even remotely well, even from your videos, this is just like
Another step.
Yeah, exactly. This is just like the next stage. You know what I mean? So this is something that you should, even though it kind of sucks that it's like kind of, going to have to be dissolved like this,
right?
You should definitely feel good about it.
Yeah. You have such a good core group of supporters. Everyone is going to be in your corner, no matter what decision you make.
And I appreciate you like saying all of those things. I don't ever really like take the time to appreciate stuff like that at all, because I'm very, very self-critical. I'm very hard on myself. Like, for me, in this perspective right now, as much as you can say like, oh, you can look at this as a good thing, like you've built all of this stuff, like look at what you've done. For me, in my head, it's literally like I have nothing to show for the 10 years worth of work I've put into this shit. And so it's real easy for me to like dwell on the negative. So I do appreciate.
You have a best friend living with you because of LEP Automotive.
That's true.
The first time I was ever introduced to you was through a YouTube video when you were creating content.
It's true.
And now we live together and we're homies.
It's true. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things that have come from it, but end of the day, I'm not doing what I want to be doing. And so it's time to refocus efforts into the things that are important and I'm passionate about, and get myself to a point where I'm not, basically on the verge of killing myself because everything is too stressful. Just try and figure something out that is a foolproof plan, because I need something that is, at the end of the day, I have to make something that is sustainable for me longer term. Like, I love everything that I do, but 10 years from now, I don't want to be doing this. I can't be running around trying to do all these things, keep up with suppliers, try and keep up with fucking algorithms. Yeah. You think I want to do that 10 years from now? No. Like, I'm trying to build like a future for myself. And so I do have to take these steps. And right now is the best time to do it. I don't have kids. I don't have a family. I don't have crazy expenses, but every year that passes, my overhead gets worse and worse. And so if I don't take the opportunity now to really improve on things, change things around, I won't have that option. It could be a year from now, if something goes wrong, it's like, all right, I have to give up completely. I can't continue to do anything, and I cannot do anything else after that because it's too late. I have too much overhead. I have too many responsibilities. Right now, I can. So this is really just a strategic thing.
I think it's a good move.
I think it is too.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah. I think everything will work out how it should. So
yeah, and end of the day, guys, this just means more content, better content for you guys. More effort into the podcast, more effort into the things that you guys ultimately get to enjoy. The merchandise at the end of the day, as much as it was very nice, the quality of the clothing has always been extremely consistent and really good, and I've had a lot of good comments from you guys. It just isn't profitable, really, at least not for the time being. And so it will be something that I will come back to, because I love merchandise. I love graphic design. I love making cool clothing and also marketing it. That's like my favorite thing. But until I get to a point where I can do that sustainably, taking a break. But
one really quick thing that I want to say, maybe to wrap us up about that, I think in a super weird way, this is this or the last episode, one or the other was well timed. Because
it was. Well, and the last episode gave me a lot of perspective too, because Dustin has like you were saying before we even did the podcast, like Dustin has sat out so many drops because he's not 100% content with it.
Right.
That stuck with me because I was like, man, I've been putting so much pressure on myself to like do these drops, to get something out for a certain time period or whatever. And I don't need to do that. I need to take a page from his book and be like, yo, just only put out the stuff that you're 100% like, this is it. And I don't feel like I'm at that point where I can realistically judge what is and what isn't.
Well, and not to be teachy, but I'm going to be a little bit teachy, is like what you're doing is something that I would encourage anybody listening, watching, to just kind of like, if you have any creative endeavor, whether you have your own brand, whether it's building it, like whatever it may be, it's like, it's in the age of social media, especially in the car community, like it's really easy to feel like, because to the nth degree, people do put this pressure on each other. It's really easy to feel like there's like expectations of you to have this constant stream of like, oh, like you're modifying this car, or you have this brand, or you have this, you have this, or you have this.
Which I don't,
but like,
I don't feel like I have to put merchandise out for other people, but it's more for me to be able to fund doing projects and doing stuff. I have to put that stuff out.
What I'm saying is, I think it's a really important thing to realize that you can take a step back. You can dissolve it altogether, like I did with Not Fast, like Liam is about to do or is doing with LEP. But like, you got to realize something that took me a while to realize, because after Not Fast, I'm not going to say I was ashamed, because that's absolutely not how I felt. But like, a part of me kind of felt like, well, I don't really know if I can like start something else, because like I feel like it's just going to go the same way, or I'm going to look like that guy that like had Not Fast, then he didn't, then he did, then he did, then he did. And it's just like, it's something that, and you're going to be able to watch it with Liam. It's just because something that you've been working on, you know, a project, whatever you want to call it, ends after a really considerable amount of time. It is, you know, low-key is kind of like breaking up with it. You know what I mean? That was part of your routine, and now it won't be anymore. And, you know, your brain is not going to like that gap. But, you know, what I'm getting at is, I think it's really important to keep in mind that, and again, you'll be able to watch Liam do this by the fact that we're still going to do the podcast. He's still going to be making content. It's like, if you end doing something like this, just do your fucking thing. That's I understand that for you, it's not necessarily the case of feeling like you have to live up to it. For so many other people, for me included, at certain points in my life when it comes to car stuff, like that was kind of one of the things where after I lost the Crown, I had that red Tacoma for like the better part of a year. Yeah. And like that whole time, I just felt like this weird uneasiness, because for so long, I have had like a stream of different modified cars that I identified with, and all of a sudden I didn't, and I couldn't afford a new one. Yeah. So it's like, honestly, that was kind of when I just like fell off Instagram, and for better or for worse, I've never really fully gotten back on. But the point that I'm trying to make, if not for you, for the people that are listening, is that in the car community and in social media in general, a lot of times it can feel like you have to be putting something out, or it's like you don't exist,
or just an artist.
You know what I mean?
Being an artist,
and it's just like, it's not. You know, if
self-awareness plays like a huge part in this. Like, you have to have enough self-awareness to realize where you're at, realize that things aren't going the way that you want them to, and like be able to step away. You know, for years for me, I have never taken a break from social media stuff, because it's my entire life. Like, my life and me paying my bills, me doing anything, depends on social media. So when the algorithms change and blah, 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 and things don't do as well, it's like that directly affects me and whether I can fucking keep a roof over my head. And so, like, I'm at a point now where I'm just like, I'm super over doing that. I'm super
being
over
at
it.
the
Like,
mercy of
that.
that.
Yeah, I literally cannot afford to be at the fucking mercy of whatever these giant social media, whatever fucking platforms decide that they want to do. Like, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't afford to pay for my fucking followers to see the stuff that I put out. I'm just not doing it. So, yeah.
Good
We're
move.
taking a break.
Good
and
move, Liam.
I'm proud of myself for being able to like step away and do that.
You should be.
But for you guys that, you know, want to support, there is still inventory stuff. So there is still stuff on the website. If you guys want to go grab any of the shirts that are left, you can. And then, like I said, there is going to be a drop at Riverside that for me is really special. I put a lot of effort into these designs and I think that they're really cool. I will be showing those this week sometime on the YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for those. But yeah, like I said, 10 windbreakers, super limited numbers as there were before. And then we'll have a shirt drop too, which will also be limited numbers. And hopefully I don't end up sitting on any of that stock because the last thing I need is to be sitting on any extra inventory after I'm like done with it. So yeah, if you guys want to grab that stuff when it drops, I would hugely appreciate that. And I love all of you guys that have supported me over the years. This is not, you know, an easy thing for me to do. But I really do appreciate everybody that's been a big part of, you know, the growth of the brand and everything that I've done. I've worked really hard and you guys have been alongside me like the whole way. And there's so many of you guys that have spent so much of your own money on the stuff that I do and I'm passionate about. And it means the world to me. So I don't want any of you to have like a bad taste in your mouth that like, oh, he's done. Like all of this money that I put towards him has gone to nothing, which you shouldn't have that about anything. Don't ever like, you know, do stuff with the expectation of something back. But I do really appreciate all of you guys. I really do mean that.
And you'll still be able to see his sweet
and yeah,
face. on
you know,
your
it's
phone.
not
the
going
end.
anywhere. You're
This is not the
still,
end.
it's still going to be there. But anyways, guys, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. We don't know what it means. Like we say every episode,
5 big ones.
give us the fucking stars, dude. Fucking give us the stars.
When you lifted your hand for the gun thing, he did the fucking horn.
Yeah, give us the stars, and then on YouTube, if you want to post anything in the comments, any whatever, join in with the conversation, and more to the point, join the fucking Discord.
Yes,
the
the
link is in the
Discord,
description.
this-
You can literally one-on-one with me and Matt.
This-
Benny will probably be in there too.
No, I'm not.
Shut the fuck up. You had a Discord
No,
before Liam did.
I'm honestly probably not going to be in it because I don't understand Discord, and
That's
I
fair.
use Discord to chat with my friends that I play video games with.
Well,
and that's
fair
it.
enough.
So
But anyways, if you guys want to engage with us more, get on the Discord.
The Discord, and I mean,
I'll be
correct me if I'm wrong right now on the show, but like, I feel like the majority of, we're kind of going to use Instagram and social media as our like, we're still going to put content in there, but more as like a promo machine to try and get attention to the Discord.
Actually, no.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so I told you that.
The Discord, I'm not going to publicly advertise the Discord on my Instagram, and if I do, it will be very, very rarely. Reason being is because I literally want to keep the Discord to just the people that want to be there. The people like the
I'm
reason
glad I
the
told him
reason
to correct me.
Yeah, the reason that I am plugging this right now, like super late into the podcast, like so heavy, is because the only people that are here right now, I'm looking at you guys in the camera if you're watching, the only people that are here right now are the ones that actually want to be. You guys like the conversation that we're having, and if you want to be more involved with that conversation, get on the Discord. I don't want it to go out to the public and have a bunch of fucking people on there that don't really care about the things that we're talking about. They don't really care about the conversation. They just want to go on there for whatever reasons, and that's when you end up with trolls, and it just makes it harder for us to moderate. I would rather keep it a close-knit community of people that are genuinely enthusiastic about cars, the car community, and any of the topics that we have talked about on this show.
In a very small bit of defense for me being so wrong,
Yeah.
I was kind of, what I was getting at was we're going to promote the podcast itself.
Yes.
And if you listen to the podcast, you're going to come
Exactly.
upon the fact
Yes.
that we have a Discord, and that's where we're going to build
Yes.
this community that he's talking about.
Yes.
So,
Anyways, guys, we have to run because we have somewhere to be.
in 4
but
minutes.
In 4 minutes. It's only 25 minutes away, but anyways. Thank you
man,
guys.
I forgot we live up here now. Ooh.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. We really appreciate it. And once again, we'll be back next week for another episode. So peace out, y'all. And
We love you guys.
Nice car.
I didn't even know that's the one that did that.